From sweet treats to soaring heights, Hersheypark is considered one of the best theme parks in the entire country. And I had the wonderful opportunity to visit it just a bit over a week ago, and wanted to share my experience. Now, without further ado, this is the ultimate review of Hersheypark. If you are visiting from out of town, chances are the first thing that you're gonna want to do is find a hotel or some sort of accommodation. Now, Hersheypark has 3 on-site resorts that you can stay at. I stayed at the Hershey Lodge, but Hersheypark also features the Hersheypark Camping Resort and Hotel Hershey. My experience at the Hershey Lodge was pretty good. The beds were comfortable and the room itself was above average in my opinion. I believe that the Hershey Lodge also has a pool / a mini water park built in, but I did not personally go to that. Nor did I really hear much about that. Overall, I think Hersheypark is pretty good in this department. Now let's get into the part of the review that you guys have all been waiting for. The roller coasters. Hersheypark was an absolutely stacked lineup with world-class roller coasters like Sky Rush and Wildcat's Revenge, and some classics like Storm Runner and Great Bear. Now, here's my ranking of all the rides I went on, and I'm going to say a little bit about why I put each ride at their respective spot. Number 7, Wild Mouse. This ride was just pretty uncomfortable. It had some fun laterals, but it was just meh. Number 6 is Comet. I really like the design of the new trains, but that does not take away from how forceless this ride is. I had a solid ½ inch of space between my thighs and the lap bar, and yet it had 0 airtime. And it was also a little bit rough. Number 5, Great Bear. This is a Mount Everest sized step up from Comet. Great Bear is the 3rd inverted coaster I've done by Bollinger & Mabillard, or B&M, and it was super fun. It was also super forceful and really unique among the other inverts I've done. I will warn you that it was a little shaky on my ride in the front row, which is also an issue I've noticed on the front row of Raptor at Cedar Point. Overall, it's a pretty good ride. Number 4 is Storm Runner. Storm Runner is the definition of short but oh so sweet. That hydraulic launch is unlike any other launch I've done. So much so that you almost teleport along the launch track. This ride also has an airtime-filled top hat and 2 one-of-a-kind inversions that have some very unique forces. The restraints aren't for everyone, but if you can get past them, Storm Runner is a great ride. Starting off the podium is Accommodations. My first B&M Hyper and the first ride I rode at Hersheypark was a great one. Accommodations had great restraints, a great drop, some of the best airtime I've experienced, and some of the coolest looking trains out of all the B&M Hypers. While I do feel that the ride could do with being a tad bit longer, I think that Accommodations was an overall great experience. And also, don't miss out on the front row ride. You get some great views of the park and the surrounding area that you just don't get on some of the other roads. Number 2 is Sky Rush. Coming into the trip, Sky Rush was my number 1 most anticipated coaster. Even though it did not end up being number 1, Sky Rush is still an amazing ride. The sheer speed of the lift is insane, and some of the airtime moments genuinely feel dangerous. The drop is also amazing because of a weird kink about halfway down the drop that suddenly gives a jolt of airtime. Next, I want to take some time to mention how I had an abnormal ride. While our train was pulling into the station, it stopped with about half the train still outside of the station. When we looked up the lift, we even saw that the other train was stopped around a quarter of the lift. After 15 minutes, we finally pulled into the station at a slow pace due to the mechanics manually advancing our train. I just wanted to mention this because it was something that sort of altered my experience. The only really thing holding back Sky Rush from the number 1 spot was a noticeable shakiness throughout the ride. And I didn't even ride on a wing seat, which is known to be more rough. And my favorite roller coaster at Hersheypark was, drumroll please, Wildcat's Revenge. The new for 2023 RMC conversion of the old Wildcat roller coaster is simply put, amazing. I just love the intensity from start to finish. The inversions are all buttery and the airtime moments plentiful. I compare this to a mini version of Iron Gwazi due to the intensity and short length. This ride is also super smooth, which likely gave it the edge over Sky Rush, in my opinion. This is why Wildcats Revenge has officially punched its ticket into my overall top 5 roller coasters. Next, I wanted to highlight some other attractions that I did at Hersheypark. Now, Hersheypark actually has a pretty good selection of water/flat rides. Some headlines are Hershey's Triple Tower, which has 3 drop towers of varying heights, and Coal Cracker, one of what is considered the best long flume style rides in the country. While I didn't get to ride Hershey's Triple Tower, Coal Cracker definitely lived up to the hype. While it was admittedly quite short, it had a fun drop and a splashdown that won't totally soak you. Pro tip, while going into the splashdown, keep your feet slightly raised above the bottom of the boat. I did not know I should have done this, and my shoes got completely soaked. Thank God the day we went to Hersheypark was pretty hot out and sunny, so my day was not totally ruined. Fast Track is the skip-the-line service offered at Hersheypark. The 2 options for Fast Track are Standard Fast Track and Fast Track Unlimited, with water park equivalents. Standard Fast Track lets you skip the line once at all the participating attractions. And Fast Track Unlimited lets you skip the line an unlimited amount of times at the same attractions. This system is very similar to the system used at the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens parks, if you went to those. I went on a Saturday after school was out, and Fast Track Unlimited definitely helped me get re-rides on the rides I wanted to go on. At around 1 p.m., the crowds were very large in the park, with over 2-hour waits on some of the rides, while most were sitting around the hour mark. If you're going on a weekend, or even a Friday, I recommend getting either version of Fast Track. I know it's pricey, but if you can afford it, I definitely recommend it. If you're going on a weekday or any time not in peak season, which is the end of June to October, you're probably fine without one. One of the other major attractions and draws to the Hersheypark area is located just a few steps away from the main entrance. Hershey's Chocolate World is set up like a massive store, with some attractions along the outer rim. Some of these are free, but most will require around $25 upcharge to experience. The 2 attractions I did were Hershey's Chocolate Tour and the Create Your Own Candy Bar. Hershey's Chocolate Tour was free and was a unique dark ride that was a lot of fun. You also get a small Hershey's bar at the end, which is an added bonus. The Create Your Own Candy Bar attraction did cost money, but it was very cool going through the process of creating your own candy bar, and actually seeing it all come together. I will warn you, this attraction takes quite a bit of time to complete due to the time it takes to make the chocolate. Chocolate World is a very fun place to head into, and a great time to go the day before your trip to Hersheypark. The last category for today's video is food. Hersheypark is one of the best theme parks in the entire world for food, which is to be expected considering Hershey, Pennsylvania is the birthplace of Hershey chocolate, which is one of the biggest chocolate companies in the entire world. Here are the 4 meals I had while in Hershey. The day before my day at Hersheypark, I ate dinner at the Grill on Chocolate Avenue, which was surprisingly amazing. I ate this short rib pasta thing that was really well cooked. They also had a ton on the menu, and really good service. I highly recommend going here if you're in the area. For breakfast on the day we were actually going to Hersheypark, I ate at a quick service restaurant in the Hershey Lodge, which was the only truly bad meal I had in my time at Hershey. For lunch at the park, I ate at the Overlook Food Court, which had some, in my opinion, above average, but quite basic theme park food. Then, for dinner, I ate at the Fire and Grain restaurant in the Hershey Lodge, which also had some surprisingly good food, but lacked a little bit in the service department. Unfortunately, I did not eat at the very well-regarded Hershey Chocolatier restaurant, which is located steps away from the park entrance, but that only gives me a reason to come back to this awesome park. Now, to end off this video, would I recommend a visit to Hersheypark? Absolutely. Hersheypark is one of the best theme parks in the entire world for roller coasters. It also has some amazing food and a ton of chocolate. This park is great for the whole family due to the many attractions in the park for kids. If you're in the area, I think it'd be great to pay a visit. Are you thinking about going to Hersheypark? Tell me in the comments below. Have a good one. Bye.